never done this before. I thought like I had to ask you, where are the shoes from? Hi everyone. Wow, I think this is my 7th YouTube vlog. Thank you everyone for having the patience, for joining me on this journey. It's been quite an interesting one. I've still got a lot to learn. I'm shooting everything on my phone, so I'm sorry about the quality, editing. Also, I'm still learning and trying to remember to capture everything that I experience as I go to events and in my life. But I also thought it would be a good opportunity this week to highlight something that might not be clear. Some people seem to think that what I do is I write a celebrity-driven column, whereas when I was asked to come back a few years ago to write the A-listers, I was very clear that what I wanted to do was document or give a slice of society across the whole ecosystem of what happens in South Africa. Not just entertainment, but also business, politics, different elements of culture, and also sport. Excuse me. So what I'm really excited about is this week on The Social World, I'm not going to any traditional celebrity events. I'm actually going to one of the key highlights on the diplomatic calendar. It's an event hosted by the British High Commissioner in Pretoria. And the other event I'm going to is a very marketing focused event. It's all about brands that are making an impact and have been admired in South Africa and across the continent. And it's the brainchild of someone who's one of the leading figures in marketing across the continent. I also thought, if I have time, I'm going to also share with you something else I was involved with a few weeks ago. I went out of my comfort zone. I was asked to moderate a discussion about a new book, something I've never done before. So I'm going to show you that as well. And I think that's also a good segue into how I decorate my bookshelf, because I've just recently moved to a different place, and yeah, I'm going to show you how I play with color when it comes to how I put a bookshelf together. So that's on the menu this week. Let me put down my cup of tea and let's get this diary started. First stop, the Pretoria residence of the British High Commissioner to South Africa to mark the official birthday of King Charles III.
But I want to wish you all the warmest of welcomes to the residence here in Pretoria this evening. I need to start by offering one apology from my wife Julie, since people keep asking me where she is. She hasn't left me, at least as far as I'm aware. She's unable to join us as she is currently in the UK, where for once it's actually a little warmer here as in South Africa. We are of course here to celebrate the birthday, the official birthday, of His Majesty King Charles III. I am sure that he would not want us to do so without pausing to remember those who lost their lives in the Air India crash earlier today. As His Majesty said in a statement just a few hours ago, my wife and I have been desperately shocked by the terrible events in Ahmedabad this morning. Our special prayers and deepest possible sympathy are with the families and friends of all those affected by this appallingly tragic incident. And the second toast is to peace, prosperity, and partnership with South Africa.
Among the standout moments of the evening was an exhibit by Canon unveiling elevated prints. Think textured photographs with Braille annotations, creating a tactile experience for the visually impaired. One powerful image spotlighted rhino poaching, adding a deeper dimension to the evening. You can almost feel the skin of the rhino by touching the photograph. You can even feel the gun, all the details of it. The theme of conservation was also central to a trailer for Poacher's Moon, a poignant film by British South African filmmaker Tom Datnow.
So Tom, tell me about your film.
So it's called Poacher's Moon, and it's about two childhood friends who grow up in rural South Africa, Kimberley to be specific, and after 15 years of estrangement, going their separate ways in life, different tributaries, they come back into collision on opposing sides of the rhino poaching crisis.
Okay.
And it's really about whether or not, after having experienced the sort of world of horrors that they each have, you know, in different ways, whether or not they can ever reclaim that lost innocence that they once shared as children in each other.
But of course you want to know about the royal birthday cake. And this time it was raspberry and rose. Regal, refined, and yes, I absolutely accepted a slice. Next, off to the JSE, not to check share prices, but to get the tea on the brands that top the list of South Africa's and Africa's most admired.
Brands are the vessels of trust and culture and aspiration. When an African brand rises to the top, it tells a story of innovation, it tells a story of resilience, it tells a story of relevance. It also tells a story that Africa is not a consumer of global brands. We are the creator of brands that the world can admire.
I'm absolutely honored. We are honored that you are here today. We don't take that lightly.
I got to chat to Deputy Minister Kenneth Morolong, not about politics, but about his support of local brands all the way down to his socks.
Deputy Minister, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Cool, please tell us about your outfit. How are you supporting South Africa with what you're wearing?
Well, I am dressed by one of my most trusted designers, Make and Make Design.
Okay.
This is his suit and the shirt. I'm also dressed by Tsepo jeans.
Right.
This is a cardigan I bought from him. I'm also dressed by my closet. This is the...
Oh, we can see the socks.
these are their socks.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I am definitely supporting South African.
I was also deeply moved by the acceptance speech by ABSA's Sydney Mbele, who was honored with the Africa Brand Leadership Excellence Award.
When I didn't have belief in myself, the first guy is a guy by the name of Mike Jube, who gave me my first marketing job at Diageo many years ago, and gave me the responsibility to lead as a brand manager at the biggest brand at the time in that business. And I didn't have a marketing qualification, and I was counting my wins. I matriculated from a high school in Newcastle, a boarding school. My parents sent me there to protect me from the disruptions in Soweto. And when I left there, I couldn't string a sentence of English. I could, of course, say I'm going to the shop, but I was not conversant. At UCT, in my first 2 years, I couldn't ask a question in class because I was worried that people were going to laugh at my grammar. I was committed to self-teaching. And when Mike gave me that opportunity, I was in a sales environment in that organization. I took it and I ran with it. The second guy I want to recognize is a guy by the name of Kees Kruithof. A Dutch guy, was the CEO of Unilever in South Africa, whose opportunity that he gave me probably was the biggest game changer in my career.
A big congrats to all the brands celebrated, from MTN to Woolworths to Africa Bank and Galaxy Boy. And from business to books, I found myself surrounded by stories at the enchanting Love Books in Melville, where I was asked to moderate a discussion with journalist Vanessa Govender about her latest work, The Village Indian. Of course, I had to add a fashion spin to the evening.
Never done this before. I thought, like, I had to ask you, where are the shoes from?
Well, I talked about it as well.
They're Versace, baby.
Because
In the country.
yeah, I have to say, like, because in the book you talk about when you're in Durban, you go to Gateway and you always buy shoes, and you were buying shoes when you went to the village, even though you were thinking, where am I going to wear these shoes to?
Well, there's no way to actually wear them, you know. So maybe.
So the shoe obsession hasn't stopped.
No, you know, it stopped for a while, but there's some things that are just so inherently there. You can't fight it, and you shouldn't fight it.
And does the husband know about this?
Hell yeah. He's financing it.
The Village Indian is a sharp, layered read you won't want to put down. Thank you, Jacana Media, for giving me the chance to help shine light on this entertaining and thought-provoking read. And since we're sipping from the literary teacup, why don't I show you exactly how I style my own bookshelf? And yes, this is more about aesthetics than it is about academics. It's probably my most prized decor item that I take with me wherever I go. I'm such a big fan of mid-century modern design. I love pieces that have a little bit of a story to them. And even though this is quite modernist and cubist, it fits into that. It's not something you're going to be able to find. I actually inherited this or purchased it from the previous owner of my original unit, who, like me, was a huge fan of mid-century modern design. It's quite an unusual piece because there's no screws, there's no glue that holds the whole thing together, which actually in its modular construction makes it easy to move around. So everything is held together by the weight of all these individual planks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, including the base. And yeah, if you can just have a look here, it took us a while to put it together, but each of the pieces can be separated, and the way it has been designed is the weight is balanced according to the different cubes. What I love about it is it's space saving because it allows me to populate the whole bookshelf with everything that means something to me. My books, my magazines, I've got a lot of them, my photographs, different pieces of decor that I've picked up on my travels, or anything that means something to me. But the way in which I put them all together on the bookshelf is a little bit different. There is a traditionalist approach to how you put your books together on your bookshelf, where you put all your biographies and autobiographies together, you put all your fiction books together, or your non-fiction books separately. Maybe you group them alphabetic like the Dewey system that they do in libraries. For me, as someone who's interested in design, I like to do things a little bit differently. So I follow a color system, which is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, purple. And then because a lot of books have either black or white spines, or gray or brown, I also find a way of incorporating them in. Especially there's a lot of books that are white. Their dust jackets are white. So I follow that color system, not only for the books, but all the other little elements of decor. So there you have it. That's how I decorate my bookshelf, following the color code system: red, orange, yellow, green, blue. There's not much indigo or purple, except for over here, and then whites to break things up before we go into gray, black, and brown. And everything else tries to fit into that family, but it's not always prescriptive. So that's why I've got a purple book here to break things up. And that's pretty much how I decorate my bookshelf.